That's what he does.
Get out of the sweet potato container. Come on. Okay, well, that's your home now.
What
I
he
don't know why
does.
you thought going in there was a good idea. But okay.
All right. Well, we are painting back again online with the stream. I'm just going to share this in a couple spots.
Okay.
So sweet.
Yay, notifications.
That's right. You hear my bell.
I do. Well, I also get the alerts on my phone too. Every time you pop it up on YouTube.
Somewhere Pete is painting.
Yes, I know. There's a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, we got Pete back, and we got the tiny man in the window, Eric, back with us.
Oh dear. Am I actually still in the window?
No, I'm not showing your face this time. You're just hanging out to keep me company.
Don't look at me.
Because you're just hanging out until you got to leave, essentially.
Yep.
No, but I just want to show off. So we got our final product kind of with our dwarves done. So I got Rodri done and his household guard last night, and I touched them up this morning just to give them like some eyeballs and to smooth out some of the hiccups that we had on them. And they turned out really slick. Highlighted the blues and did some other things. So, but yeah, they came out really good. I'm really happy with the way these dwarves came out, and the blades didn't come out too bad for my first attempt at non-metallic metal.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, it was just like it gives off the impression that it's supposed to look like metal. It doesn't like always need to look exactly like metal.
Yeah.
It just is the definition enough of like, yeah, it looks like it's supposed to give off the impression of metal. So.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I could probably get it down a lot better, but Pete don't have that kind of time when he paints.
Oh no.
So,
No.
Eric, you're gonna notice this paint scheme that I'm gonna start today with my Nurgle Marines that I'm painting for the Final Round Game Shop.
Yay, Nurgle Marines.
So Eric has seen this green nasty paint scheme before because it's my go-to for my gross paint schemes.
Well, and it's really simple and really effective.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like what, unless you added stuff to it, like there's really 2 to 3 different steps, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I put my rust effects on there, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the most is whether or not you go through and like extreme highlight everything afterwards.
Yep.
Is like the most time consuming if you think about it. So, because those washes like do just about everything that you need them to do to make it look gross.
Yeah. So. Sweet. Nathan just finished up his Sneaky Pete followers, so that's always cool.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Sneaky Pete is the man. The company Steamforged actually named the model after me.
Oh, is that true?
I don't know if it's true, but that's the story I'm going with.
Oh, okay. spreading that ideology.
That's right. You know, if enough people start saying it, it's going to be true.
Yep. I mean, drink enough gasoline, you turn into a transformer, right?
True that.
Boy. So how many more of those squads are you painting up for God tier?
Let's see here. For God tier, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 more champions I got to paint.
Okay. How many total champions are there?
Right now I think there's somewhere along. So that'd be 16. I think there's 18 or 19 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool little game.
Seems like a dynamic as far as like the amount of champions, like different ways to play and everything.
Yeah, because they do a good job of, even though they're in the same class, they play very differently.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see it, and there's a couple of them that are trash, but for the most part, they all have their spot, you know.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I'd say there's only one model so far in the game that I'm just like, yeah, that's borderline unplayable.
Mm-hmm. And why is that?
Because it's a skeleton kind of mage.
Mm-hmm.
And so think of like, it's probably what Kalthazad on Heroes of the Storm, what she should be like.
Okay.
But she doesn't do any of that. She's supposed to kill enemy hero or enemy champions.
Uh-huh.
That's what her class is, but she doesn't do it well.
Oh.
And she's like fragile, so she can't really
Mhm.
get in the mix and do what she's supposed to do because she just, dies to a stiff wind.
Well, how would you modify it then?
We kind of talked about it on our last podcast where uh, she just needs to either have something that makes her more survivable or
Mm-hmm.
makes her like less of a target.
Okay.
So something that Mournblade does is he's only worth one victory point. So that could be something that would, anything that would. I think she needs something that basically makes it where your opponent doesn't want to hit her for some reason,
Okay.
and she doesn't really have that. So she usually just gets farmed dead, and then she doesn't kill anything because her attacks are a little lackluster. They're accurate, but they don't put out a lot of damage.
Gotcha. So, increasing her damage or decreasing the incentive to actually hit her.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because she puts out debuffs, and it's like that doesn't help her kill models.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're counting on her to be like the beat stick, then no.
Well, another thing is she has like usually you can only benefit from um, a boon once. So like if you have an accuracy boon, you get +1 to hit or plus
Mm-hmm.
one die.
Yep.
But she gets that twice, so she gets +2. But the problem is she can't give herself the boons that would make her do like lots of damage.
Okay.
So something that would be like, oh, you can give yourself a damage boon, and then it's like, oh, now instead of rolling one extra die, you're rolling two extra dice. That would be really good. My
Okay.
blackjack guys. When I paint up my Blackjaw, so there's an orc Eric named Blackjaw,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically when I paint him up, I'm gonna paint him up like the fighting Uruk-hai. I'm gonna put like the
Oh,
white
nice.
the white hand of Sauron on them.
Yeah. I always like that.
So yeah, I said that because Nathan was talking about his Blackjaw guys. Blackjaw is a beast. He just kills followers and just eats them up. Nom nom nom.
Mm-hmm.
This Nurgle Marine has a tail.
Yes. Yes, I can see that. It's good for praising the Nurgle.
Yeah, right.
Boy.
I tell you what, this starter box of Plague Marines almost got me back into 40k
Yeah.
because I saw them and I was like, "Come to daddy."
Mm.
And
The
then I
problem,
played. And then I played, and I was like, "Nope, never mind."
I was like, the problem is that Plague Marines are just the same as following the same problem that Chaos Marines do in general, is that you just don't field them in your lists
Yeah,
because
because they kind of just they don't do a lot, and they just kind of are resilient, and that's about it.
they're suboptimal.
Yeah,
Uh, like their points say that they should do a lot more than they actually do, uh, and that's the problem with like a lot of Chaos Marine lists, is that you don't actually have too many Chaos Marines in your Chaos Marine list.
yeah. This green I'm using as the base for these Nurgles is Castellan green. I
Yeah, yeah.
believe it used to be called Catechin green.
Oh, okay.
But this green, like anything that you want to do, like a plague or kind of sick looking green, this is my go to like green for that. It just sets a good base and good dark green that you can then build up with browns and other kind of poop baby greens.
I like using the camouflage green from Vallejo. It gives,
What does that look like?
it's basically the same thing as that. It's
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
a yellowish green, a little bit on the darker side. It's
Yeah.
like half a step up on the light side from like an olive green.
Okay.
So
Yeah, if I do any kind of camouflage pattern, this is my base for that camouflage.
yep.
Because you can just put blacks, whites, and browns and stuff on top of this, and it'll look really slick. I need to do that with one of my models I'm going to paint soon because I like painting camouflage.
Yeah.
Blackjaw looks like he was freshly skinned trophy. Does he look? Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, another reason I like those playing God tier is the champion models are bigger than models I normally paint.
Yeah.
So you're,
That was one of the appeals. I
yeah,
was looking. Like what millimeter scale is? Because I want to say that
it's a
40K
50,
is at
it's a 50 mil base.
okay. Because like yeah, 28 millimeter I think is what 40K is at for its like standard.
Yeah.
So
No. GW keeps upping the ante with the base sizes. Like this is what, a 32 that they put Marines on now.
yeah, yeah, those are for the Primaris Marines. I think Primaris Marines are I think what they're trying to phase everything into.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Like I said, I'll always have a space there for all the 40K stuff, but I'm never playing that game again.
I mean, I'll
Unless
probably bust it out, but
unless you were like, "Hey man, I got this. You want to play them?" And I'm like, "Sure, that looks cool." That's about the only way I'd play them.
yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to like competitive play of it, like I was. Just I don't I don't know. It'd take a lot for me to want to drop that kind of money on a competitive game again.
Yeah, right.
Because there's so many games out there now that do competitive play for far and away less money, and
Well, yeah, you could buy
uh,
everything in God tier, just as an example, because I just had the minis out. But you could paint, or you could buy everything in God tier for probably somewhere around 200-300 bucks, like every model in the range.
yeah, it's probably about like 500 to 600 for X-wing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
whereas like that's barely one army in 40K.
I don't even think that's one army. I don't even. I think for some armies, that's not even a quarter of your army.
I think Custodes could do it for like about 500, just because their model count is so low.
Yeah, maybe.
Imperial Knights probably also too, because like you'd field like 3 models,
Yeah,
and but each one of those models is like 150 bucks. So
yeah.
um, I was looking at actually like messing around with my Tau the other day, and I was like, oh okay, cool. What if I wanted to get another Riptide? And another Riptide's like $120 or something like that. And I was like, no.
Hard pass.
Yeah, it's like, man, I have a lot of 40K stuff just sitting on my shelf and everything.
Well, and and maybe that's why I was actually talking to. I know there's a podcaster, and his show is called Third Floor Wars. He does like a lot of Malifaux stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was talking to him, and he's like, "Man, you're kind of a game whore." And I'm just like, "Well, listen, it's like I come from the land of like 40K and Games Workshop, where I used to spend a lot of money. So now the fact that I can get a game for like under $100, I'm like all in.
yeah.
It's like that's nothing.
Well,
That's a drop in the bucket for GW.
that's kind of the thing that like I come with when I go into X-wing and stuff is that like, man, everybody's like, man, you got like everything, and or you like went super ham, and I'm like, I don't know, I just used like 2 months worth of like 40K budget on this.
Yeah, right. Well, I think about that too. I'm like, man, how did I build all these 40K armies? Like, I had even less money than I do now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
and I think a lot of it is models were significantly cheaper, like
not,
5, 10 years ago. Like I remember, and I'm trying not to be like that back in my day type person, but like
but you
back in my
are.
day, yeah, yeah. But like I remember Codex was like $20, $25, and now you can't catch them for under 40. Um, the Land Raider, how much did you pay for a brand new Land Raider when you were playing your Marines first time?
Uh, whoa. So, are we talking about like my first time back in like 2000? Or are we talking about my first time in like 2006?
Let's say 2006, like back when we were like playing 40K
So,
together.
so when we were playing together, you could probably get a Land Raider for like $60.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say they're like 80 now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like Noah said over here, he's like, yeah, you can buy stuff off eBay, like pre-assembled, that people are just getting rid of for cheaper.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, but that does not actually help the gamer economy.
Yeah,
Uh,
X-Wing's pre-painted, Nathan was asking.
oh yeah, yeah, definitively. You could do like alt paint jobs and everything like that. I've seen some really primo ones of
Yeah,
that, but like,
I actually did some commissions for X-Wing where I did
mhm,
some alt paint, and I actually
yeah.
I did one where what are the little ones called? Are they A-wings?
Uh,
The little like speeder looking ones?
oh yeah, yeah. For the rebels, yeah,
Yeah.
those are the wings.
Yeah, so anyways, I painted a squadron of those up in like Voltron colors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's pretty funny.
That's pretty neat. A buddy of mine was wanting me to do up some Y wings in Voltron colors,
Nice.
so that would be interesting.
It's not that
That
hard.
was,
They
that
actually
was
the paint actually goes on it pretty well.
oh yeah, 100%. 100% goes on there fairly well. Um, and if you do it right, you don't really need to like repaint the whole thing. You just paint the highlights or
Yeah.
whatever you're wanting to go over. So, for example, on the A wings, it's the center section that's for the most part like what's colored. So you just like repaint the center section and then like touch up everything else.
Yeah.
So if you're going like full paint, like I did some repaints of the Jedi Aether sprites
Yeah.
up to like the individual Jedi's. Like I painted up my own Plo Koon, Mace Windu, Ahsoka's Aether sprite and everything. Because the only two base that are out there are the Anakin and Obi's.
That's cool.
Yeah, they did a alt one for Plo that like came out at Worlds last year,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like mildly flattering when people was like, "Oh my God, is that the Worlds Plo?" And I'm like, "No, I just painted it myself." I'm like, "Oh, I'm like yeah."
Turns
Just
out
kind
you learn some easy
of
tricks.
trail
It's
off.
not that hard to replicate some things.
No, no. Well, and a lot of it was just a matter of like making sure that you're painting straight lines.
Yeah.
So, which I'm having a decently hard time doing on Captain America's shield. Uh,
Stay inside the lines, Eric. It's easy.
I'm trying.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I tried to do so. Reddit's kind of like this interesting place where you can find a lot of like examples of cool paint jobs and stuff. And I tried doing a couple of Reddit threads,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just can't get into it sometimes.
I mean, Reddit, I always take with trepidation. I mean, it's one of those places that's like great and wonderful until it's not, and then it's really not.
Yeah. I don't know. People say I like Twitter. A lot of people say the same thing about Twitter.
I'm not a big fan of either, but then again, I'm old, so
I mean, you're just as old as I am.
I know that's my point.
Are you saying that I'm trying to be like all the cool kids, all the hip kids?
I mean, if you start TikToking, then we'll have a chat.
Yeah, right. I just think of that meme going around right now where they're talking about that they're redoing the Tony Hawk PlayStation game, and it's
Yep.
Steve Buscemi, and he's like, "Hey, fellow kids, I also like this game."
Yep. Yep.
So I feel sometimes, especially when I'm like teaching. Hello,
What is
fellow
up?
kids.
I would like to purchase one drug, please.
Ah man, there's a lot of detail on these Nurgle Marines,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I'm ignoring half of it right now because that's not the step I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in the get the green down as quickly as possible step.
Oh, you're not in the ooh piece of candy step.
I don't know what that means.
You just like find a piece of candy and then like get sidetracked.
I mean, I could start painting more god tier stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
I know the title of this video is Painting Nurgle, but F that.
nice piece of candy.
That's always been my problem is I just paint a lot of stuff and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool.
Agreed.
Like I got my Malifaux Hamlin crew that I started, and they're still. You remember when we did that first paint party?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I haven't touched them since.
Oh shit. Okay.
Had other projects come up, and that's kind of one of my things where I was just like, and I'll paint this later.
Nice, nice. Go silver. Oh,
Oy vey.
indeed.
I say do what you should do what I do during my meetings. Do something else and just have that in the background.
I mean, I'm planning on having like something going on. Cause I have my laptop set up my desktop workstation as well, and
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have uh the meeting going on with my
Hmm.
headset on, and then maybe something else going on.
Yeah.
Um, but it's all gonna depend upon how interactive they're wanting, because they're wanting like feedback on certain things,
Yeah.
and if I don't like pipe in every now and then and like at least maintain like 50% concentration, it
Yeah.
might be
Right.
a faux pas, so to say.
So Eric, are you okay with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mark.
All right, so we're gonna spend about $100 million because Eric said it's okay.
Please no. Yeah, luckily it's not that big of a budget thing, but it is one of those projects that I think I should at least pay attention to.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could paint while doing it. Is the other thought that I was having, because I thought about just like having my headset on while doing this, but
I don't think I couldn't do a meeting like that if I had to also talk. Like, I couldn't talk to you and do that meeting, but I
okay,
could definitely paint. I paint while I do a lot of stuff. Like,
yeah,
people tell me that they can't paint with like the TV on, or they can't paint, while they're listening to or not listening to something. But you know what I'm saying? They're like, I can't paint doing a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I can paint doing anything unless it's a brand new show that I have no like frame of
mhm,
reference of.
yep,
That's the only thing like I couldn't do, and even then will sometimes.
yeah.
The last time I was watching something that I could not paint to, but I was trying to, is what was that? I think it was Narcos. I think that was the Netflix show that was pretty big. That people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, you need to watch this," and it had subtitles because they spoke like in Spanish half the time.
Okay.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like literally cannot paint while I'm doing this, so
I
turned
generally
it
have
off.
like I generally have like a streamer on or something like that, playing a video game that I'm like kind of interested in. Like right now, I have a streamer on there that's playing Civilization.
Cool.
Uh, so
Do
yeah,
do do. Yeah, have you ever painted busts, Eric?
painted a bus.
Yeah, like any of the gaming busts. Like you know how War Machine started putting out busts for like
Oh,
Warcasters.
okay, a bus. I thought you said painted a bus, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
have you ever painted a bus? Like
Like
I'm
why
talking
the
about one of them big old school buses.
why the hell would I paint a school bus? Um, the answer to both questions is no. I've never painted a school bus, nor have I ever painted a bust bus.
So I don't know. I don't think I sent you the link to it, but um, Broken. Actually, I think I might have told you about it. Broken Toad Games is doing busts for the Labyrinth,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
and they're pretty cool looking. I'm like I'm not a bust painting guy, but I might get some of those.
You gonna get yourself a hoggle?
They have Hoggle. They have I think they have all the major characters. They even have some of the monsters and the knights and some of the other things. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be kind of neat.
They also have some Dark Crystal ones they put up in the same thing.
Hmm. You said broken toad?
Yeah, Broken Toad Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking at because they're really cool busts, and I know that's one of your some of your jams right there.
Yeah, I do like me some labyrinth and some dark crystal.
Because Eric saw his baby crying hard as babes can cry.
It did. It did. I mean, I was just thinking
What
about
can,
dance magic the
but
whole time.
but I mean, what can you do?
Yep. Just thinking about dance magic.
That's right.
Best kind of magic.
David Bowie kidnapping babies and whatnot.
Yeah. I like David Bowie. It's too bad he passed.
Yeah. These small models with all their freaking detail.
I mean, that's GW.
Well, it's just like when I was painting those house guard last night. I'm just like, man, there's so much detail. Why can't they be easy to paint like their daddy was?
Ah, yeah. It's I like the idea of having like dynamic miniatures, but like at some point when a model gets small enough, like having so much detail on a small model becomes daunting.
That's actually my one of my few critiques of those Crisis Protocol models.
Yeah,
Is some of the detail gets lost. Like a thick coat of primer can get rid of some of that detail. Like Black Widow's like belt where she has her logo and whatnot.
yeah.
There's no way that detail is easily able to just be taken out. It's just
Mm,
I think she has one on her. She has like two of them on her, but I only painted one of them because the other one kind of just didn't show well.
yeah. Yeah, no, I feel you. And it doesn't even have to be a thick coat. It can just be like a less than thin coat.
Yeah, like a base coat almost.
Yeah. Can get rid of it. And like that's not what is supposed to happen. I mean, it's supposed to be able to like put that light coat on there and then you start picking out all the details and everything. So,
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
I don't know. Maybe they designed it so that everybody just like primes by hand.
Yeah. Or and like with their airbrushes,
Yeah, yeah.
like a bunch of hipsters.
Man, airbrushes are a thing. Like I don't know if I'll be getting one anytime soon, but like I thought about like messing around with one. But
Yeah, I got one. It's just like I said, it's the same thing that I'm gonna that with the non-metallic metal. Like it
mm,
was cool, and I found out some stuff I could do with the airbrush and this non-metallic metal.
yeah,
But it just slows down my paint. Like people that go back and watch the stream from last night, and you were
mm,
on there, and I think you were on there for maybe like 10 minutes before I noticed you were on there
yeah,
because I was so slowed down and in tuned with what I was trying to blend and
yeah,
do with that non-metallic metal that it doesn't fit my paint style. Like I can do it, and it's a tool that if I really want to do it, I can. But as far as the rest of those god tier models, nope, that's the only warband that is getting non-metallic paint.
I could see it for using like an airbrush. I could see it for batch painting.
See,
Like if you have a bunch of
but the
tools and
thing
everything.
is with that, it literally just the paints that you got to clean out the thing in between each coat. It slows you down. So, like, I agree. Like, if I was doing priming, like for example, and I had like 100 models to prime, that's probably the way to go, just because it'd probably be quick.
Yeah,
But I don't know, man. It slowed me down so much in between all my different colors that I wanted to use.
yeah. Like I definitively know that like it's not for me in my current state, and I am curious though about like the styles of painting with it, just so I can like add that to the repertoire. Um, but ultimately, like I don't the setup I have at my house, like I paint at my kitchen table.
Yeah,
like I if I want to and like get more serious, then I go back to my office and paint on at my I have a paint station at my desk. But like I don't have like a dedicated like hobby space like that, and I don't think unless I was like planning on like making money off of painting,
yeah.
uh, that I would like try to actually invest in more. than that.
Yeah.
I mean, even then, like you're doing your streams and what have you, but like I don't necessarily think that like it would behoove you to do it yourself even.
Nope.
Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, some people love them, and that's fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. And like it's a comfort thing because if you can make art, just do it whatever way is comfortable for you. But
Yeah.
uh, it's definitively not the way that we. I mean, at the very least, me and I'm assuming you are comfortable doing it because it's extra steps to a process that we can achieve uh, without it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I can appreciate it. Like when I see a smooth blended, airbrushed model, it looks really slick. And especially, I think if I painted more vehicles, I think I would
Mm.
try it
Yeah,
because I think vehicles and huge plates of armor is where
hmm,
you really see the smoothness and the amazing technique you can do with an airbrush.
yep. I
But
mean,
I
if
don't,
I was
I don't do that anymore.
I was doing a bunch of Marines,
Yeah.
because that's the downside of like Marines is that like you get all the brush strokes every now and then if you're just doing like a clean look and what have you.
Yeah.
So
Like these Nurgle Marines, it won't matter. But yeah, when I paint up those Ultramarines on stream, people are
mhm.
going to see like you're going to see some brush strokes and you're going to be able to see some of the hiccups on the armor, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I remember when I was painting on my Black Templars, it took me forever to get the white on the shoulder pads down,
Yeah.
and that
Well,
that honestly was like just kind of like making the paint just kind of loose enough to just form into pockets, so to say. I guess
yeah.
I don't know.
Noah's over there hailing Hydra. Apparently, he switched Captain America's and Red Skull's heads.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Red Skull was one of the ones that I was kind of interested in doing that one source lighting or like the
Yeah, that'd be a good practice model to try that on because it's very obvious where the light's coming from that.
mhm, definitely.
What are you doing, robbing somebody?
No, my wife is filling up dog feeders.
Jeez, Mallory,
Sorry.
you're not sorry.
Listen, I'm trying to work and the little dog needs some distraction.
Little dog.
Well, I know she's 100 pounds and not technically little, but whatever.
I was like,
I
little
agree.
dog. You know,
Her
you
name is
remember
Eliza Dog Little. She's a little dog.
you remember my little dogs, right?
Yep. Yep.
What's in her name? Eliza Dog Little.
You remember when your dog was a puppy and was bigger than my dogs?
Yep.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Zig, Zig's always been kind of a big guy, and then we got him the puppy. So, and the puppy was huge when we got her too. I don't know if you saw those pictures.
How long did it take those two to kind of get along?
Pretty much immediately.
Oh,
Like
that's
Zig
good.
was really excited about like the puppy when we first got her,
Well,
and
he's
then
pretty even tempered, you know what I'm saying?
no, I agree. But like, from an early age, like he kind of took over the role of like just showing her how to do things,
Yeah.
and like definitely didn't tolerate her if she was being stupid, and like let her know that.
Yeah.
Uh, and even now, like when she acts dumb, he'll put her in her place.
That's good.
Um, but she doesn't act as dumb as much anymore, and she's pretty good. I mean,
Good.
she's like a year and a half old now, so
Yay, we got all the green down.
yay, green. Your first layer of green, not all the green.
I know, right? Well, a good thing with priming brown with these guys, oh, miss spot, but I all the spots that I want to do my rust effect, I can actually leave this brown primer I used, so
Okay,
it actually saves me a step
gotcha.
because I use this.
Where do you get that? where do you get that brown primer at? Is it just like a Walmart special or what?
Nope. So part of my thank you for painting stuff on stream and painting some of Jacob's store stuff is he gives me some of the GW primer since
Oh,
nobody
okay,
buys it.
because it's like $10 a can.
You wish, Eric. It's like up to like $18 a can now.
Jesus fucking Christ! Like, I'm not even sad that I cursed right there. Jesus Christ! Like, and you wonder why I said I prime in black because I
Okay,
can get
maybe the regular one's like 15, but they have the contrast primer, which is total crap, and it's like 18-20 bucks. I'm like, this is crap. Did you
I pay
just throw up a little bit in your mouth?
I pay $5.99 for my can of Krylon black primer.
Oh man, Nathan said 17.50 is how much it'll cost you.
Jesus Christ! See, back in my day.
Yeah, I think back when like you and I were living in the same state, I think they were probably about $10 a can.
Yeah, and I thought it was ridiculous at $10 a can. Like,
Apparently, the gold spray paint is $28 a can.
does it spray out actual gold?
Oh man, yeah. If I didn't get the homie hookup on the GW primer, I would not get it, and
Oh
that's why
god.
nobody buys it because it's just so overly priced.
And because the way that the GW model is set up is that they
Yeah,
force the store owners to actually have it in stock.
yeah, yeah. Because it's like, oh, you have to have this much primer, this much paint, these base models.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Crap.
I think most of the stuff Jacob sells at the final round is actually just paints, like the paints
Yeah.
used for the actual models and stuff. Okay. Like the GW models, he doesn't actually really sell hardly any of them.
I'd imagine like special orders are a thing if he sells
Yeah,
any.
yeah.
Which I mean is not a bad way to do things.
To do to do. All right, I think we're good there. That kind of made my day, though. Jesus.
Christ. I mean, come on, man.
We need to put some lipstick on there, Eric.
I don't want to.
That way you look pretty.
Well, GW tries to fuck me in the ass.
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy, easy,
Sorry,
easy.
this is
Not my stream. Not my stream.
Jesus. I read an article the other day saying that the owner of Games Workshop is worth more than like a gas company in Britain, like one of the central gas companies in
Huh.
Britain.
That's
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
yeah. And I'm like, just I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, like I'm all for like people making money and what have you, but like, damn.
You're a gaming company.
Yup. And not even like a supremely big one like Wizards of the Coast or something.
Yeah, no. Just painting up all these. There's a ton of these like metallic pipes and tubes coming out of these dudes.
Yeah, they're like Skaven in the fact they like their bells.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have like an eerie similarness to the Skaven, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe why I like them.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I think that's good. Huh.
What's up?
Yeah, I was gonna. So that's actually interesting. So Michael said that if you take out Hasbro, that GW may be bigger than Wizards of the Coast.
Potentially, but I would tend to disagree based upon the IP of Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
I think those two games, each one of them would individually be the same size as Games Workshop model line, but like I don't know the numbers, and if the numbers say that that's correct, then sure.
Well, you also have to remember that GW started kind of really pimping out their IPs. Like
Yeah.
they basically sold a lot of their I don't know if I want to call it likeness and stuff and backgrounds too. Like there's for Dice Masters, they have a 40K
Oh yeah.
version. Munchkin has a version of it. There's a Monopoly 40K now.
The what is it? Uh, Warhammer Total War for
Yep.
and then like I guess like unless Age of Sigmar is like really picked up, GW's like flagship is 40K.
Yeah.
Um, so and then all the video game likenesses and what have you. I mean, yeah, I could see it now that we talk about it more, but I still would be interested to see what the actual numbers say.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if anything, it's close. I think they're both really big companies.
Yeah.
Who dat? Doesn't say what are you working on right now.
I'm doing some touch-ups on Captain America. I'm
Hmm.
wanting to try to do. I finished up Red Skull this morning, and I was wanting to try to do more of the Captain America because like I want him to look kind of like he did in Endgame,
Yeah.
with a darker suit. Because like I'm just not a big fan of the like bright Captain America suit.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming out all right. I need to just make sure that I'm doing the picking out of things the right way though.
I don't know. Some of the brightness you can achieve with the Crisis Protocol stuff is actually kind of some of the fun of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I
Um,
painted Vision, and he's like ridiculously colored,
I
and it was really
I
cool.
agree. I just have an affinity for the dark blues of that Captain America.
Well, you did play Crimson Fist for a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. But it was also I like navy blue, and navy blue is like predominantly the type of color it looks like he's primarily rocking.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of like personal aesthetics and preference at that point.
Yeah.
So and wanting to get like the right colors and everything, and like the way that the blue and the white like pop off each other and everything. So
You right. You right.
and admittedly, the Crisis Protocol mini isn't like exactly the end game one, but like you can get a pretty close approximation with the paint scheme.
Well, it's actually interesting because actually I still need you on there. Um, I think that they're going to kind of release different versions of models.
Oh, that'd
So,
be neat.
so like that one's like Captain America, but then they might have Captain America, the Civil War version, or
Mhm.
Captain America Endgame version. So I heard that they might be doing that.
Yeah, I mean it's a way to add longevity to a game.
Yeah.
Is releasing like a model with a different rule set and everything.
Yep.
Especially if you're doing it just based upon like individual models.
Because I think they were talking about a new Black Widow coming out, and she's going to
Yeah.
have slightly different rules. Because I think what they're obvious, and this is just smart, and if they're not doing it, they're dumb. But when they release these movies, they should be coming out with new models that also sequence up with that movie.
Yeah, it
So,
makes sense.
so like when the Black Widow movie comes out, release a Black Widow.
Yeah. Nope. That would make sense. If they're like Fantasy Flight though, they'll probably end up having like the miniatures like coming out like 6 months to a year after the movie though. Unfortunately, just because of like turnaround.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Michael was saying he wishes Crisis Protocol was on a bigger scale.
I mean, I don't know how you do it on a bigger scale.
Well, you could do it the way, because they do have some of the lesser followers, kind of like Thanos coming out, and you could do like the Agents of Shield too. So you could expand it almost into like an army aspect, but then it doesn't become a skirmishing game, and you got to switch the rules up.
Yeah.
So I'd be interested to see some. I think I might be more interested if it actually was more like that. Actually, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
like have a Wakanda faction.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
But the sad thing is, a lot of those larger scale games are just kind of falling by the wayside.
Yeah, because skirmish seems to be the way of things. Like you do a game that can fit inside of the 90 minutes to an hour, set up, tear down, play, and everything.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I need to get ready for my meeting, so I'm gonna bounce out.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Stay gangster.
Yep. Thanks for popping on. Yeah. Okay. So you're talking more scale of minis instead of scale of game. Okay. That makes more sense. Hang up that call. Get rid of the desktop audio. Yeah, so I mean, if they were more like the scale of God tier, that actually, because then you could put more detail into the models, and that would actually be really cool. All right, what else do we? Who is buzzing me? Oh, Eric's sending me pictures. Cool. Cool. Yeah, and it's just one of those things where you have these superheroes, so it's like, well, why not make them bigger, right? They're bigger than life, anyways. Yeah, and you can pull out a lot more of the cool details that you want to put into them as far as the actual models go. Yeah, that would be cool. I definitely agree with that now. Okay, I think we're good there. We just need the bolter. Probably going to paint this red and then we'll call it good and we'll work on these some more after Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to take the Memorial Day weekend off from streaming. Plus I got some other nerd things I got to do. Got to play a game of Malifaux tonight. Probably get my butt kicked. Call you good. Yeah, lots of got this red that's gonna pop really nice with the model, and then a lot of these tentacles are gonna be like purple to also pop really nice. $30K. Sweet. What D&D edition? You guys playing the newer edition? I'm guessing. I don't even know what the newer edition is. What is it? 4, 4.5, 5, somewhere around there. I think it's 5. It's the 5th edition. Yeah. I've actually heard a lot of good things about 5e. I was actually going to when they come out with the Theros D&D book, the one that's based around Theros and magic. I was probably going to look at doing a campaign with one of my buddies and a group of people. Because one, I just love Greek mythology, and that's a really cool plane on in Magic. So that'd be cool to kind of participate in. And since 5e I've heard pretty good things about, I would definitely be okay trying it out. All right, you don't. Oh, we do have one there. Any other tubes? Tentacles. Okay. Using this corn red. This is base for most of my reds, either that or the Mephiston if I have it. I mean, I've played D&D before. I played a lot of second edition, and then I played a lot of 3.5. So that's kind of where I got most of my teeth cutting done when it comes to D&D. So I'm familiar with some modern D&D, but also some of the old school THAC0 stuff. Alright, I think we're good. Nope, we got a tube there. Burp, burp, burp. Phone blowing up. Alright, I think that's all the red on that dude, at least the majority of it. Two more. Yeah, I'm actually, if I can slowly start acquiring more P3 paints, I'm definitely started doing that. Especially their metals, I've been really impressed with the P3 metallics. So the last 6 months, if I see a P3 metallic paint, I buy that up on the spot. Just because they're really good. I'm really impressed with them. Big fan of the P3 metallics. All right. Good. Okay, is that the only tube? I think so. All right, one more guy. One more Nurgle. Yeah, I'm a guy where when I do my role playing stuff, I always I lean more towards the non-combat stuff. So like the story and the dialogue, those are things that are more interesting to me. Which some DMs don't like because sometimes they're like, "Why are you doing this? Why you now they got to come up with a story?" And the guy that was just on Eric, he used to DM for our group back in Kansas, and he would get pretty. I wouldn't say mad, but he would have to think of some really creative things just because things happened. And he was like, "Well, now I got to figure out what to do with you guys. Go get something to eat, and I'll figure this out." All right. Tubes. Anybody got a tube? All right. There's one there on his leg. And he's got his tail, which is fine. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we got for today. Been going for about an hour. Let's take a gander. So we got our 5 Plague Marines. The only base colors we have left, just to give, I think, just looking at this, I have 2 base colors I got to do. I got to change that. Okay, but anyways, so the base colors we got left are, we have this, which we're going to put a brown over it, like a dark brown, stapled or stippled. And then where we have the horns, cloth, and even the skin on this guy has a head on the end of his marine on the end of his grenade. So really we just have those 2 colors that we're going to do. And then we'll put a wash on, and then we'll pretty much go from there. So tomorrow we should be able to finish these up. I'll get the wash out of the way tonight. That way you guys can see what the post-wash looks like. You guys already see now from this is what the pre-wash is looking like, minus about 2 colors, which the colors aren't going to change that much. This is just going to be a lighter kind of bone color. And then all the metal, 3 colors, because this has to, all these tongues and stuff are going to be purple. But yeah, so really just those 3. And tomorrow you'll see kind of how we how they change with a wash. So yeah, want to thank Eric for coming on. Michael, you've been great in the chat, just kind of hanging out. Always like having you in the chat and just kind of BSing, just hanging out with us. Make sure that you guys go to the Rage Quit Wire YouTube channel. We do a lot of streaming on there. We even do some streaming of gameplay, which we're trying to do at least once a week. Once this pandemic lifts, it'd probably be more than that. And then, yeah, we also got the podcast where we're doing a lot of God tier content. So you should definitely help check out that. Thanks, Nathan. He's just sharing, and that's what I just like about this, just having more people on and just sharing what we're painting. That's really what I want, giving some tips and tricks to what I do. And then also getting stuff from y'all is another reason why I like doing this. I've learned a couple of things from, I know Michael's given me a couple tips with some of the contrast paints. So it's just been a really cool experience to do. And I just want to encourage others to play it painted. But yeah, also support your local game stores. Final Round does a really good job supporting content creators, and they have a lot of really good stuff that they're still selling. Ikoria just dropped for Magic if you're into Magic. We just did a constructed event at my buddy's house last night, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, just support people, do what you can to stay sane. Get as much stuff you painted, because as stuff opens up and maybe we get our play spaces back, you want to be playing with painted stuff. So, but until the next time, make sure that you guys roll dice, throw salt. We'll see you guys next time.